The silver dawn light gradually grew brighter, and the morning glow lit up Dandelion City. In front of the Rozark family's estate, a large number of people were gathered, even though it was very early in the morning. Although the discussions were whispered, they created a clamorous noise. It was the day the Rozark family would be recruiting new guards. Those who were interested had already lined up in front of a stage in the yard, and each and every one of them were rubbing their hands together, eager to give the test a try. Even those who couldn't participate had gathered around to watch, because it was a rare and exciting event. Many members of the Rozark family walked through the main gate. There were also many guards around, so no one in the crowd would dare make trouble.
"Isn't that the foolish warrior from the Rozark family? He's still up on that mountain," someone said.
"Except it seems that the stone monument is missing," someone replied. "Strange." Many people from the crowd of onlookers looked up at the barren mountain, where a young man in a purple robe was fiddling with something. There was no need to guess who it was. Everyone in Dandelion City knew it could be no one other than Cahir Rozark, otherwise known as the Foolish Warrior. During the past 10 years, everyone in the city had heard the story about Cahir. At age 6, the young member of the Rozark family had had his martial arts vein examined, and it was discovered that it was a useless vein, meaning that he didn't have the ability to learn martial arts skills. In Dandelion City, where martial arts were highly regarded and practiced by nearly everyone, the consequences of being unable to practice martial arts could easily be imagined. However, because of the Rozark family's current prestige in Dandelion City, a young member of the family should still have been able to live a decent life, even if he couldn't practice martial arts. But misfortunes never came alone. On the day Cahir's useless martial arts vein was discovered, he was very upset. During a storm, he ran up Cahill Mountain to the magical megalith. Lightning had struck, and although the monument wasn't damaged, Cahir was hit and fell unconscious for 3 days. Ever since then, Cahir had gone back up to the mountain and stood in front of the stone tablet, first for a few hours at a time, and then for days on end. His eyes became dull, and even stranger was that he would sometimes dance in front of the magical megalith. At first, some members of the Rozark family sought medical treatment for Cahir, but it had no effect. Eventually, the family had given up. Over the past 10 years, the name of the Foolish Warrior had spread from the Rozark family to the entire city, until everyone knew there was a fool among the Rozark family.
"If all the young members of the Rozark family were like him, our test today would be much easier," one member of the crowd said. "Look, the juniors of the Rozark family have come out."
It's said that Veng and Eunice are the strongest members of their generation of Rozarks. They've reached level 6 of the acquired stage at age 14. It's possible they'll reach the supreme stage by the time they're 17 or 18, which is very rare. As a dozen extraordinary young boys and girls from the Rozark family stepped up onto the stage, each and every one stood up straight. The noisy yard momentarily became quiet as all eyes landed on the young Rozarks. Zin walked onto the stage and faced the crowd of onlookers. He said, "The recruitment of guards will begin now. The first 20 people to be undefeated after 3 strikes will become an employee of the Rozark family." A bell rang, and the test officially began. One by one, the group of people who had lined up began to step into the arena on the stage and fight the young Rozarks. Shining spears clashed in the arena, and from time to time there was the sound of a palm punch. There was loud cheering from the onlookers, which could be heard from afar. All eyes were attracted to the arena on the stage, and no one paid any attention to the young figure on the barren mountain. On top of Cahill Mountain, Cahir searched through the pile of stone that had once been the magical megalith. "How could the tablet break?" he muttered to himself. "There should be more instructions now that I've mastered the first form." As he searched, a large amount of dust was stirred up, which covered his face and robe. "Forget it. It seems like there really was no instruction for the second form." He stepped out of the rubble and brushed the dust off of his robe. His face was still full of determination, and his eyes were bright. He indeed looked like the famous foolish warrior of Dandelion City. A yellow stream of air surged out of Cahir's palms. His entire being seemed to be filled with an inexplicable power. Since I succeeded in performing the first form, my martial arts vein should have reached level 2. It had taken him 10 years, but he could feel the effects of learning the first form written on the stone tablet. A satisfied smile appeared on Cahir's face. The mysterious first form was designed to repair martial arts veins, so that someone with a useless vein could practice it. The cracks on the stone tablet were related to the restoration of the martial arts vein. Cahir thought that his martial arts vein should now be similar to other people's veins at level 2. However, he also sensed that his vein was a bit special. If Cahir could learn the second and third forms later, who knew how high his martial arts vein could reach? He was very much looking forward to finding out. I can learn the other forms in the future, but right now I have to find a way to get rid of my reputation as the foolish warrior. The golden aura slowly disappeared into his palms. With a smile, he realized that he was the most famous fool in Dandelion City. Over the years, Cahir had paid little attention to the insulting name, and had even enjoyed seeing others think of him as a fool. It had kept him from being disturbed while he was trying to learn martial arts techniques from the stone tablet. He still had a long way to go, though. He might have been on his way to practicing martial arts like everyone else in Dandelion City, but he knew it would be difficult to get the support and resources of his family. And resources were exactly what he needed just then. He was tired of being treated like a fool every day, but he would have to slowly earn back the respect he had lost during the last 10 years. Meanwhile, back at the stage near the main gate, a dozen juniors of the Rozark family were fighting either bare-handed or with swords against big, strong men. Although these Rozarks were young, they seemed able to handle with ease the challenge of facing their opponents. They could beat their opponents in only 1 or 2 moves, which surprised the crowd and made their reverence for the Rozark family grow. "Don't we just have to resist 3 moves? Let's fight!" someone in the crowd said. "I have to become a guard for the Rozark family this time," someone else said. "I have to go all out." The people from the crowd became more and more excited when they saw the strength of the boys and girls from the Rozark family. If they were chosen to be guards, they might be lucky enough to learn 1 or 2 of the Rozark family's special moves. In less than an hour, over 200 people completed the challenge, but almost all failed. They were repeatedly defeated in the arena. However, the young Rozarks looked like they were beginning to tire. It seemed both sides were expending almost all their energy. Finally, there were 20 people who just barely defended themselves against 3 moves from the young Rozarks. Many of them were injured, but those who passed the test and were allowed to remain on the stage were very excited. Everyone's eyes were on the stage, and when Cahir came down from the mountain, no one noticed him. He made his way through the crowd and started watching the fights. As he watched the moves of his cousins, sisters, and brothers, he frowned as if he was pondering something. "How are the martial arts skills of the Rozark family so flawed?" he thought. "Am I overthinking it?" His expression became more and more confused as he watched. He had seen people from his family practicing martial arts before, but at the time he couldn't comprehend it at all. But after learning the first form from the magical megalith, he felt he understood something about the Rozark family's martial arts. Many of their moves were full of flaws. After the 20th person had passed the test, Zin walked out onto the stage. "Stop! The 20 slots have been filled and the recruitment is over." He looked at the people who had passed. "Congratulations to all of you on making it into the Rozark family's Black Squadron. Those who were injured can go to the healing center for free treatment." "Thank you, Vice Commander," the new guard said. They could already see that they were being treated differently because of their new status. After Zin's announcement, many of the men who were still waiting in line felt disappointed. They regretted not getting there earlier. "Is the quota full already?" one person said.
I've come for nothing today." The young Rosarks were really strong. Imagine being so strong at such a young age. The young Rosarks who had participated in the test were preparing to leave. For them, the day had been just a learned test, not much different from the usual sparring sessions between their family members. "Wait," a voice said loudly. From the 20 people who had resisted 3 moves, a burly man of big stature stepped forward. He had a face full of stubble and slightly tanned skin. He gathered his courage, looked at Zin and said, "Vice Commander, isn't it true that if I defeat or tie with any of the young members of the Rosark family, I get to be captain of the guards?"